Every time I come in the kitchen, you in the kitchen, in the goddamn refrigerator.
I sure am hungry.
Welcome everybody. Oh, okay, you gonna cut me off?
She said,
Sorry.
Welcome everybody to the morning dinner episode number. What is it? What are we? 19?
18.
18,
I don't
19.
know.
Oh my gosh, if this was 19, then it would be the day of my birthday because I'm January 19th.
With our luck, it's the 18th.
Oh.
We'll see. I can't even talk today. On today's special episode, we got our good friend Kimothy Doe.
Hello, I'm Kimothy Doe. Nice to meet you.
You want to give yourself a little introduction to people who are tuning in?
Yeah, I would love to. My name is Kimothy Doe. I'm 17 years old, and I'm an influencer as well as a model. That's what I'm most known in the Las Vegas community. But I also act and I do music, and I'm a brand ambassador and all things above.
Nice. Yeah. What kind of brands do you?
I've represented a few. More major ones I've represented like Tommy Hilfiger, Travis Scott, surprisingly, Victoria's Secret, Kylie Jenner Cosmetics, things like that.
Damn, Kylie Jenner Cosmetics.
Yeah.
Did you hear that news about her becoming she was about to become the first billionaire?
No, she is one.
She is now?
As of her, yeah, she just turned 21 too, which is crazy. And I don't know, she's one of my idols for sure. Because I mean, they say they have no talent, but that's a lot of money for somebody that doesn't have talent.
No, yeah, actually, that's exactly what we were talking about the other day, about how people can hate on it, but it's like, yo, at the end of the day, even though she was born into a position where she could potentially have those opportunities, she took those opportunities and she made it happen.
She really did. And so it's like something that you're self-made into, and it comes into like a topic of controversy where it's like, if you're born into a rich family, then of course you can do all these things.
Yeah.
But you can't be stupid and be born into a rich family and be able to succeed, you know? So it's kind of crazy. I think she's really smart, personally.
Yeah. I think being born into a rich family is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, realistically, if you were handed $1 million right now, you couldn't handle it better than somebody who knows millionaires who know how to handle that $1 million.
What you mean?
You know what I mean? That's just preach. So basically, how I feel about that is the fact that, you know, like we see people who get handed money.
Yeah.
You know, we're like,
this is Chuck, by the way.
Oh yeah, what up, y'all? What up, y'all?
We've done like 17, 18 episodes, and I never introduced him for some reason.
Oh my gosh.
He's always behind the scenes.
Chuck, would you like to give yourself a little introduction?
Yeah, man, tell the people who you are, bro.
My name's Chuck. I'm the camera switcher, and I talk here and there.
Oh,
he's much more than a camera switcher.
If you were more than a camera switcher, we wouldn't have spent 5 minutes trying to adjust your lighting and everything.
Yeah, if you were more than a camera, you're more than a camera switcher, bro. Yeah. You're also a video uploader.
Thank y'all.
You're also a hashtagger.
Preach.
I'm not even none of those. That's fucked.
Oh.
I'm just I'm a creative guy.
Anyways, going back to the what were you talking about?
So I just feel like with people with like $1 million, because you always hear people who get handed, like you could say, the lotto.
Okay.
You know.
Oh,
they don't know how to manage their money, but people who like have millionaire family members and whatnot can usually learn from them.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. They know how to deal with $1 million.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If I give you $1 million
that's
right now,
that's kind of how you're talking about like people who win the lottery and they got millions now.
They got no discipline.
And then they run out of money within like a couple of years.
Because they got no discipline.
Because they got no discipline.
Yeah, and it's crazy. I mean, you'd be surprised because a lot of the times millionaires are like the ones that win the lottery end up broke within like the next 7 years.
Or dead.
Yeah, and also like when you do win the lottery, you don't know how much money you're actually gonna get because taxing and everything too. So you get like
it's just sketchy too. Like I heard stories like if they're real or not, like family members trying to kill each other.
Oh my gosh.
They're like, oh, you won the lottery?
Oh, yeah.
It's so public. Everything is so public nowadays, which is like such a big problem, especially like for social media. And somebody like me too, being 17, like privacy is such a big problem.
Let's talk about that real quick.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Privacy,
I was waiting.
I don't know if you were like gonna ask a question or something. As far as privacy goes, like people don't understand the extents that Instagram goes to just to make sure that you're keeping their ratings up and stuff too. But there's a lot of the times where people would notice it too, where people would comment on my photos, and I have like a guideline as to what I do delete and what I just keep on and just let go, because people don't really know how to take a compliment nowadays, and they're just like, oh my gosh, that's like harassing me or something like that. But all in all, like I try to take it as a grain of salt, but it gets intense. Like people would send me things through my messages, and I've had stalkers come to my house before.
What?
Yeah, I have like 3 at school. I have like 3 different restraining orders on 3 different kids just because one of them like takes the bus with me and he's knocked on my door before.
That's
and then
so
like
weird.
and then there's been like a guy from my work that has sent me like a painting that's maybe like 10 by 12 feet.
Feet?
Of
yeah.
you?
No, it's not of me.
Oh,
it's like of the beach or something. You can tell it's like an expensive painting, and
Hey,
it's
you
like
could sell that though.
I know. That's like I kind of wanted to send it,
Monetize.
but yeah, monetize off of my creepy stalkers. But yeah. So it's people don't understand like because I do things outside of social media too. So especially being in Vietnam and stuff, like my family's pretty popular over there, and it was just like. It's just crazy, like the things that I have to go through as far as privacy.
Oops. Wait, so you're from Vietnam?
I'm not from Vietnam, but I just came back from there. Actually, your photo shoot, like that photo shoot I did at your house, was the first photo shoot I did since I came back.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I lived there for about 6-7 months, up until like 4 months ago. And over there, it was just like privacy was not even something that was, a thing. Yeah. Just because everybody wants to. Once you're known, then you're out there. And my dad, he's the CEO of Casio. I don't know if you guys know what Casio is. It's like G-Shock watches and stuff like that.
That's crazy.
I've heard of Casio. I'm from that age. We grew up on Casios. Don't they also make like just electronics, pianos,
and stuff like that? Yeah, but he's CEO of Casio Vietnam. Oh my God, I'm not like millionaire daughter or anything, but Casio Vietnam over there, and he's always meeting like super famous people and stuff like that. So we go to their parties and we get photographed, and then we go home, and it's just like. I had like somebody from the military follow me in Cambodia just so that somebody like wouldn't try to cut my head off or something like that when we were over there.
That's fucking deep.
It was really crazy.
In Cambodia or Vietnam?
Cambodia. In Vietnam, it's a little bit better. Like I have like a few cars over there, and I have drivers and stuff like that. So like I used to just take like random rides. Anyways, just because like if I take off my makeup, like nobody knows who I am and stuff.
Yeah.
But I went to an international
like that?
school. Yeah, I'm two different people. Take her to the pool on the first date. You know what I'm saying? But when I was at school, I went to an international school, and I paid like $35,000 a year just to attend there, and it was like a multi-million-dollar company that ran it, not like a school board or anything.
Yeah.
So we weren't like allowed to stand near windows, and we had like this big ass complex where everybody was staying at and stuff like that.
It wasn't like Trump University, was it?
I have no idea what it is. I don't want to know what that is. That sounds terrible.
You guys never heard of Trump University?
No.
One of his many failed businesses.
Are you serious? He has his own university?
Yeah, he had his own like business, entrepreneurial. Like if you were an entrepreneur and you wanted to learn about business, you would sign up for his university. It was like I don't want to lie, but it was like a year course or something like that, and you paid a certain amount. It was a hefty price tag.
Oh my gosh.
But apparently like there was no accreditation for it, and then people who attended it got nothing in return. There was like they signed up with the hopes of like being able to learn from Donald Trump himself, and he never showed up to any of the classes or something like that. Yeah.
I mean, Oprah even shows up to her schools in Africa more often than he did, probably.
Oprah has schools in Africa?
Yes. I only know this because there's this comedian named Trevor Noah, and he makes fun of like the schools that are in South Africa that have been built by Oprah. But she built it, and it's like a $1 million, investment.
What kind of jokes does he make about that?
He was like saying like Oprah opens a school in Africa, but she doesn't realize that the teachers that she hires has to be from Africa, and over in Africa, if you guys didn't know, they don't really necessarily treat their students with the civil rights that us Americans have, so they would beat their students. So it's funny, like they'd go into an Oprah school, and the teachers are like getting beat, and Oprah would like go there, and she'd be freaked out, like, what the hell are you doing to my kids?
Yo, that's dark, bro.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, but it's Trevor Noah. He's from Africa. He's from South Africa.
Wait, is that the guy who always criticizes on the news like about like, whatever? Like he's a comedian, right?
Yeah, he's a comedian. He's a light skin, but he lived in South Africa. So people are like, you're not South African, you're not dark, and like the things like that, like super racist stuff. So yeah, he speaks on that kind of thing, and it's really cool. I appreciate him a lot.
Isn't South Africa the kind of nice part of Africa?
It is.
Isn't that where Cape Cod is at or something?
Yeah.
I know geography.
Yeah, good job. I don't. I just nodded.
Yeah, me too. I was like, yeah.
Just a little.
Shout out to my geography teacher, Mr. McKenna. Oh no, he was English. Never mind.
Mr. McKenna, what school did you go to?
Desert Pines.
Oh my God, I kind of want to throw up now.
Oh my God.
I go to Clark.
Yo. You go to where?
Clark.
Well, I already threw up in my mouth a little bit.
Okay.
I don't even know what that is.
You don't know what Clark is?
I went to Mojave.
Wait, wasn't Clark like a woman's prison before it was a school? Wasn't it?
Was it?
Or was that some other?
Know.
Was that like another?
I would
school?
love to tell you, but I don't want to know myself. I'm not going to search that up. Hey, I go to a women's prison. Yeah.
I'm gonna do a quick Google. I wish we had another monitor set up so we can actually research things while we're talking about them. Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah.
I'll look it up after the podcast and leave it in the show notes.
Yeah.
So damn stalkers though, that's That's crazy. I guess that's one thing me and Chuck take for granted is being ugly. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh my gosh.
nobody's looking at us. Nobody's looking at us. Like
my girl came up to me. That was the only person.
Oh my gosh. That's the only person you need. Personally, I don't really care. Because people would slide into my DMs where they'll be like, oh, how can I shoot my shot? It's flattering, of course. But it's like, I see a lot of these people at school. You know, being like 17 and going to high school and stuff like that, and just like a regular public school, Clark High School, but I have like a large following and all these influences and stuff like that. So it's like different just because, yes, I have those 3 stalkers, but a lot of the time people don't know that people at Clark don't necessarily like talk to me or like find me as like this girl that's like a cool model or whatever. They're just like intimidated.
But you have friends though, right?
I do. I have a certain group of friends, and they're not the friends that you'd expect somebody, you know, as small and weird and quirky as me to have, but they're really cool.
They kind of like bodyguards.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Point.
All of my friends, don't take this the wrong way because it's terrible whenever I say this, but all my friends are black.
Oh, that's perfect.
And it's awesome. I have a type for sure because I just grown up around black people. I go to Clark, like, which is a women's prison apparently, but
I could be wrong. Don't quote me, man.
But all of my friends are black and they're like so wonderful, and I get culture from them too. But yeah, like at Clark, it's just crazy.
That's the beauty of Vegas. It's a big ass melting pot.
So exactly, and I love
reach
it.
out to everything.
But in Vietnam, it wasn't like that. Like if I spoke English, which I never did, because I speak a lot of languages.
But spit on you?
Yeah, they wouldn't spit on me. They would like I would be in supermarkets, and then I would like be brought up to the front of the line, or like a white guy. Like people would prioritize him and let him stand in the front of the line because you know Asian countries are really like high on how people see them. As far as like how their country is and stuff like that, and foreigners, they're like, oh, they're gonna go back to their country and talk about Vietnam, so I want them to see me as like a really cool country or whatever. So it was really weird.
Culture's so crazy.
Yeah, it was
different
a major
everywhere.
culture shock.
Damn. Like when I went to Mexico, they just hated me. They're like, oh,
did they?
Like, gringo.
Oh my gosh.
No, just playing.
That's so funny. Do you speak Spanish?
They definitely didn't. They definitely dip. What is it?
Wow.
I can't think of that. Jip me. Sorry, on my
when
we bought the same thing, and I swear he took more pesos from me.
Oh my gosh, they do that all the time.
They do that in Thailand too.
All the time in Thailand, in Cambodia, in Vietnam.
Yeah.
If you speak English or if your Vietnamese sounds slightly slurred, they'll be like, this is 10 times more expensive than it usually is, and they just do that.
Thailand's the same way. That's what my mom said.
crazy.
She's like, don't be speaking English. She's like, you can get fucking.
Was that the time you went with me to Mexico?
Yeah, bro. No, this is when we went to Guadalupe. Yeah.
My uncle's super racist. Like,
oh my god,
he's racist, but like in a funny way. Like,
yeah, he didn't know.
He would call you Pikachu.
Yeah.
he thought you were Asian.
No, I am Asian.
Yeah.
Oh, you
I'm
are
half Asian.
Oh my gosh.
But he was like calling me Pikachu, and I was like, I don't know if this is racist
Yeah,
or he's just trying to be cute.
He doesn't know or something like that.
My uncle drinks a lot.
Does he?
Yeah, but he's harmless and he's
nice.
He's funny. He's
That's
funny.
wonderful. I'm so excited.
He's a kind racist. No.
Oh yeah, no. I think there are racists that can totally be more racist than they are right now, and I've experienced that for sure.
Have you guys noticed, like, I don't know how it is in your guys' cultures, but Mexican cultures, like, Mexicans are very blunt about things. Like, they, like, for example, like if they see you a year ago and then they see you again today, like, oh, you gained some weight,
Yeah,
like,
Asians are too.
Asians are too?
Oh, you fat.
Asians are, no, they're straight up like, you're too fat. Like when I was in Vietnam, and even just being like on social media and stuff like that, people still consider me as like, some people even called me a plus size model when I was over there, which is crazy because I'm definitely not a plus size model. But like, people would just straight up be like, "Oh, you're bigger and you're shorter, so why are you a model? Like, you're not a real model. You're just like an Instagram model," which doesn't necessarily bother me either because Instagram models got a lot of money. You know,
making my money.
Yeah, just
what are y'all
making
doing?
that dough. So I mean, people say a lot of things about me, but
Are people like dying of starvation over there? Like,
oh my gosh, they're so pale. Like,
I mean, they just eat rice.
You're so terrible. You're blaming his uncle. Oh my gosh.
I'm half Asian.
That's karma.
Yeah, you get to do it. Yeah, I say that all the time. I'm like, I'm Asian. I get to make fun of myself.
We get the card.
Yeah.
The Asian card.
Yeah.
Even though mine's only half.
Oh. Yeah, but a lot of people are just like super scrawny over there. They're super pale. Like they'll go outside and they'll wear long sleeves and it's like 89 degrees outside and it's because they don't want to get touched by the sun. So different cultures for sure. Because I would go tanning on the beach and everybody just like look at me weird. Like she's definitely like foreign because nobody tans over there. It's good to be like pale and stuff.
Do you need a napkin or something?
Can you tell? I don't think you can tell.
There's a little on the
that
forehead.
would be wonderful if you guys had a napkin. I'll just go like this.
All right. Sorry. So I'm gonna go get you a napkin. But real quick, can you explain to people how you kind of got into, first of all, modeling, and then how you started becoming like an actual brand ambassador? Like what went through your head to inspire you to go that direction? Well, go get your toe.
Yeah, of course. Oh, this feels like a nice little hotel. Oh my goodness. So I get a lot of questions like on the internet as to like, how did you start, or like, how do I get into modeling and stuff like that? And I myself didn't really I didn't say like, oh, I'm gonna be a model and start doing it. My sister, like, she has a camera and she needs models sometimes. So I modeled for her once and they turned out terrible. And I felt so bad about myself, but I've always been that type of person that would be like self-encouraging myself, like, hey,
you need to learn.
Yeah, you need to learn. Like, you can't just live your whole life being a terrible person in front of cameras, because I knew that I would be a personality, because I have too big of a personality and too much ambition to just stay behind, the cameras and stuff like that. So I started like posting selfies of myself on Instagram with like really natural lighting and no like.
This podcast is falling apart, guys.
I'm so sorry. I think I feel like this is my fault.
You 100% brought a ghost in here. Let's just say that. Sorry to derail you, but keep going. I'll fix that.
But just so y'all know, Keen grabbed the toilet paper and paper towel.
and then it just fell.
And he dropped the light.
It's okay. But yeah, I just I started posting selfies with natural lighting, and then I reached out to photographers. And I do have to admit, like, being Asian and being a female definitely puts you at a higher standpoint, just because people know like viewer attraction is really important, and majority of viewers it's statistics that Asian females are the most desired race.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah, and Asian males are the least desired, which is crazy. But yeah, so when I reached out to people, they were like, oh yeah, you could shoot with my car, or I'll take a picture of you, just because they thought I was hot. And then slowly, like, when I went in front of the camera and I was confident, I just started building, and I was like, I want to do something crazy about this. Like, I definitely have the ability to. So I just started like reaching out to people and networking and doing all these crazy things that took away my sleep at night. And I was in Vietnam at the time too, so it was a different time zone. So I was trying to work with my time zones, and I wrote down like on a notebook my progress and everything too. So it was definitely hard work. It wasn't just because I was like pretty.
So at that time, were you doing social media before that, like, or after?
I never did. Like, the only thing that I've done that exposed me to like the social media world was I was on The Voice, but that's it. And
you were on The Voice?
Yeah, but I went through like barely anything on there. Like, it was I don't even tell people that I was on The Voice just because like it's not credited enough. But that's the only thing that I did, and I was such a loser back. Like, I was an ROTC nerd, which I'm very proud of, by the way. But
what's that?
ROTC, reserve officer.
ROTC?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah. So I was like so nerdy and small and stuff like that, so nobody really paid attention to me as far as social media went. But I always posted like videos of myself singing and stuff like that on my Facebook too. So
did you ever do covers?
All the time. And I feel like a lot of people start off on YouTube with like shitty covers and stuff like that, and I'm like, I don't want to do that. Like, I want to have professional videos on YouTube, but I posted it on Facebook instead, so I just use a different platform. So hopefully when I blow up, then people can be like, oh, throw back to when she started and stuff like that. And yeah, so that's basically how I got started.
Hopefully when you blow up, or
when I blow up. No, I feel a lot of people are like, you're so famous, or like they say things like that, and I have like another Instagram account where I post personal things, and that has like 13 followers, and I don't see like a major difference. The only thing is like I feel terrible when I lose 100 followers a day on Kimothy Doe, whereas like,
let's talk about that real quick. Yeah. How do you feel that having that many eyes on you and attention, what does that do psychologically to a person? Because I know, like, for me personally, look, I don't really care that much about social media. I look at it as game, but it's like, so I've been trying to hit 3,000 followers for the longest time. Yeah. And I go from like 2890 to 29 to 2895. And it's like always losing and gaining like 5 followers, 12 followers, gaining like, I kind of like, it's like annoying, you know what I mean? But I can't imagine like when your entire life is kind of like, is out there and you have that many eyes on you. Like, I can't even imagine being like a Kardashian
or a Michael Jackson.
Oh my gosh,
or a Michael Jackson. Like,
you even walk outside your house.
The pressure must be on. And like, can we talk about how that has kind of like shaped you as a person, or your mentality, or like what goes into like, being a public figure like that?
Well, a big misconception is that people think that I buy my followers, whereas like you usually have to have a credit card or something like that. But I'm 17, like I don't even have the ability to buy my followers. So when I started gaining, it's gotten to the point where my sister would look at me and be like, I found these glasses and I wore them, and she was like, this reminds me of the old you before social media like came and killed the old you, and now you're this person.
Damn.
I know, and it hurts so bad, but it stays with me all the time because I know that like I am a different person because of social media. And a lot of people are like, oh, I'm like the same person I was before I got famous. But social media, like it's freaked me out. Like I can't walk out of my house without doing a full face, or yeah. And it's crazy. Like, I mean, I can, I would be perfectly fine if I did.
But not if you're trying to go somewhere where you're trying to be.
If I'm trying to go somewhere, or just even to, like, I went to the dry cleaners today and I did my eyebrows and I put on fake eyelashes. Like, it's gotten to that point because I've been recognized so many times where I just don't want to be anybody less than I am on my Instagram, just because I already, like, portray, like, a beautiful person on Instagram. And I'm short and I'm a little bit bigger than regular models. So if I'm like in real life, my shortness is going to be like the most prominent. So I want to at least have them see that like I am as beautiful as I am on Instagram, because people don't know how short I am because of my pictures, like it's like usually shoulder up. So it's just like gone to that, like every single thing I do, like I can't even confront people because I'm a tough girl. Like if you press me the wrong way, I'll say something to you, but I can't even do that, like protect myself. I just like have to let it go and let things move on. But it's been crazy. I don't like it at all. But
yeah.
So why don't you start like melding in yourself without the makeup and just being a little bit goofier without the makeup, and then people be like, oh, I love both sides of you. Because then it's like, because I think you'll make certain girls confident to be like, to love both of their sides. You know what I mean?
And I definitely try to, because I post pictures anyways, even if I'm short and I'm bigger, I post pictures anyways. And I heavily press the self-love kind of thing, just because there's so many girls out here that are like, I want to be a model, but I don't think I can do it. And I'm like, well, if you find yourself beautiful, then make it so that other people see what you see. You know what I mean? And I think this honestly is like my first step into doing that, because I've never posted, like if you guys see my Snapchats and stuff like that, it's usually me like flirting with the camera or doing something.
I deleted my Snapchat.
Oh my gosh, yeah, do that, because I've been wanting to do that.
I don't know how you do it.
It's terrible. I have 500 streaks on there. If you guys don't know,
what does that mean? A streak?
A streak basically means you have to send a personal Snapchat to a single person every single day, and it keeps a number of how many days you guys have gone back and forth. I have 500 of those. Cool. So I have to click, and it takes me about 20 minutes just to send something to everybody, and that forces me to like look a certain way. And on my Snapchat, like I look this way and I'm like so cute and so sexy, but nobody knows like what my voice sounds like or what my personality is and stuff like that. And a lot of people are like, oh my God, you're so sexy and you're so awesome and stuff like that. And then they meet me and they're like, wow, you're a lot nicer than I thought you were. So it definitely like sucks on that kind of part.
Sometimes I go 2-3 days without texting my family, bro. I can imagine.
Damn,
hitting back 500 people.
Yeah, it's just random people too. Yeah, so it's like
good luck.
It's crazy for sure. It's a lot of effort, and I do it all by myself. Just
I was wondered, like, wouldn't it be cool if there was like an auto replier for you? Like,
oh my gosh,
you know what I mean, like a bot.
I do have a bot for my email, just because I get so many emails. Yeah, it's like, if you want to reach out to Kimothy Doe, please message her on Instagram, which don't do that because I literally can't get to my Instagram messages anymore. But
you change your bot then?
Yeah, I need to change my bot. Yeah, but I wish I had some assistance to it, but at the same time, like me doing this all by myself is definitely like something that I've came to appreciate.
I feel you. We have to produce so much micro content for this show, like, because the thing is, like, once we go live, it's cool and everything, and then the video's kind of already edited because we switch live. But it's also like, once the show's over and we're gonna release the show 2 weeks later or whatever, we have to create little like snippets for Instagram, and you have Instagram vertical video for the story. You got the actual post that's like a 1x1, and then you have the actual whatever you're going to upload to YouTube, and then the micro content for YouTube, and then the Facebook. It's like so much micro content, and nobody's even watching us. Yeah. So it's like, I can imagine if you had people actually watching you.
Oh, no. I feel that. Don't say nobody's watching. I watch you guys. I'm the only one that matters. You know what I mean?
We got Kimothy Doe watching us.
Hopefully,
yeah. See that hesitation?
I know. Kimothy just a little.
Yeah, be careful, man.
Yeah, don't call me. Yeah, everybody's always like, "Oh, donation," or like my hashtag itself is donation, which is an actual word. So
is that kind of like a thing that you did because like people have kind of like their their following, and that's what they call their following, like the
it was
donation.
a really good way to network.
I thought it was donation, it's donation, right?
Yeah, it's donation.
But I think of donation.
So they're your donators.
Everybody's like always like, at least especially foreign people, they're like, so what are you trying to donate? I'm like, what do you mean? Because they don't understand what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I created it, and a lot of people ask me about it, but it's just like something, I don't know. I'm just always been business oriented. So when I was like, okay, I need something like Rihanna has her Rihanna army, or like her whatever army or something like that, or Demi Lovato has her Lovatic. So I was like,
Lady Gaga has her monsters.
Yeah. So I was like, donation, Kimothy Doe, because I wanted to keep the brand going. And
Keem
like
has his dream team with 2 E's.
Shut up,
oh my
Keem.
God, that is so cute.
Right?
I'm on it.
You're
I'm
like
a dream team.
you're like the first person to agree with me, Chuck.
Are you serious?
Chuck has convinced every guest before today.
You know what? Chuck's just a camera guy.
I'm just a hater.
He's just he's just a camera
He's
guy.
just a switcher.
Yeah, he's just a switcher and quote unquote video releaser or something. I forgot what it is.
So let's talk about your musical background. You mentioned to me before the show that you were not just a singer, but you actually play instruments too.
I do, yeah.
How was that influenced? Like, was it family or
with music?
Yeah.
Well, it was definitely a cultural thing, but since I was young, it sounds super cliche, but you'll find it in a lot of artists that they've always been into music.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys can see this, but my finger's like super messed up just because when I was younger, I died to play the piano. So I had like this tiny little keyboard that I would use, and I would go and play it, but I wouldn't play it like the right way that you're supposed to, because I never had any training or anything as far as like the piano went.
Yeah.
So I did whatever it is that I could to learn the piano and have something to sing to. And eventually, like, I got my own piano and I started writing music. And, recently I posted my very first music with Dylan, which is Meals. He's like the most talented rapper I've ever met. So it was definitely like, I play the violin, I play the piano, I play the ukulele, the guitar.
Damn. We were just talking about that a couple of
With Olan?
Was it with Olan?
Yeah.
What was it that we brought up where we were asking, like, do you feel like every artist should be able to play an instrument or something like that?
Oh wow, that's a lot of pressure.
Do you feel like if you're an artist, like, okay, so actually let's bring it back to this. Do you feel that if you can't call yourself an artist unless you're well-rounded as far as like, because there's people who sing, right?
Yeah.
But then there's people who sing and then they also write their own lyrics and then they also compose and do all that stuff. Like, do you feel just having a good voice is not enough to qualify you as an artist, or do you feel like you're an artist no matter what you do as far as you're being a part of a project? Like, what is your perspective on it? Because I've heard people say things that like, oh no, well, you're not really, you're just a singer if you just sing, but if you don't write your own lyrics, you're not really an artist. You know what I mean? Like, what's your perspective on that?
Well, as far as like the people that I've observed, myself personally, I have this conversation all the time where I say talent doesn't even matter anymore. Like, it's just how business you are. It's all branding and your name and how you do things, and it sucks.
Times are changing.
Exactly. So when I think that you're able to sing and play the piano and stuff, that just adds on to something more that you can do besides branding yourself. So if you can brand yourself and you have that extra thing, then it just puts you at a one-up thing. But there's people like Selena Gomez, who is like the most followed or was the most followed person on Instagram, and she doesn't write her own songs. But there's people like Taylor Swift, who isn't the most followed person on Instagram, but she does write all of her songs. So I don't think like qualification comes from you, for sure. And there's a lot of artists out here, but I think like what the quality of your work brings out like what quality artist that you are, for sure. So like
you said something that kind of like I feel that I want to touch on is like, you're an artist depending on how you view yourself, right? How you like, if you feel that you sing very well and that's your artistry is singing, because you took vocal lessons for it, because you're training yourself, then you're an artist. However, if you're somebody who just sings and then they're like, well, I've always wanted to do this, and you kind of feel short, then do whatever it takes for you to feel accomplished, and then you can call yourself an artist, right? It's very subjective.
Yeah, it's extremely like it's like very hard to put it in a box, because everybody wants to call themselves an artist or an actress or an Instagram model. Like, I was saying that about modeling. Like, anybody calls themselves a model if they've ever posed in front of a camera, even if that's like their own, which is something that I did for a really long time. So qualifying yourself as an artist, even if you don't write your own songs or if you're a great singer, what are you doing? Like, as far as for the soul. You know what I mean? And it's so hippie and stuff like that. I'm like such a teenager for saying that, but
you gotta start talking about crystal.
I know, but like seriously, like
just can't lie to yourself.
Exactly. Like I always told myself when I was younger, like I can sing, like I can totally be famous because I sing. But up until I started writing my own music, I was like, I'm nothing compared to these people because you
humble yourself.
Yeah, you're like,
shit.
fuck, you know, like this is crazy. This is the things that I'm competing against, and it's just like,
but I think that's what makes it good is when you can like step back and be like, damn, I need some time to learn. I need to figure myself out and sharpen my skills because a lot of people there's a small amount, but there's delusional people who think they're probably like the most amazing artists.
Exactly.
And I'm like, okay, dog, like
okay, you know, do whatever just so you can.
Like, wait, so are we gonna start talking about mental health or what?
Oh my gosh.
Oh shit.
You're crazy. Yeah, it's just there's a lot of times where I have the opportunity to show up and show out, but I'm positive that there's a lot more than I can learn. I released one song and that was like last month. You know, so I'm just like, I'm not gonna call myself an artist, you know, I call myself a musician. I do music, but am I like an artist? Am I doing things for other people?
Yeah, it just sucks because there's no underlying line or defying thing that can say like if you're an artist or not, because it's all subjective, like you said.
Exactly.
Anybody can be an artist. You know, there's a guy who he did like a stroke on a blank canvas, like literally, and sold it for like $3 million or some shit like that.
Oh my gosh.
Who was that guy you were telling me about that had his kid paint or finger paint or something like that, or it was a kid's finger painting and it sold for like.
Was it me?
Yes, I think you told me there was a kid who actually like
it might have looked like finger paint.
I think his parents like they brand him as an artist and they're just having finger paint and his finger painting sell for like $50,000, $100. Yeah,
exactly.
And that's where business and marketing comes into play.
That's what I'm saying. Like
that's kind of how I feel about Kali Uchis, man. Because when I like so I love Kali Uchis' music. I love it. I'm a fan. However, she doesn't compare to like a Whitney Houston. She doesn't compare to like one of those singers that can hit those high notes and really put a lot of strain into their voices. But she really did a good job in branding herself as an artist. Like if you look at her music videos, she has such a distinct style, and I feel like that's what kind of pushes the artistry. You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
Too.
Yeah,
it's also
being unique is very
important. That's what made her kind of, you know, she did sound like some other people, but it's still a unique flavor from the regular, oh, let me hit the most beautiful notes. It's like when you look at a picture or a photo or a video and it's super clean, everything's steady and sharp, but then you have like that shaky footage that's a little grainy and it's just as cool because it's all subjective in the end of the day.
I think I'm going to rebrand myself, bro.
What are you going to do?
I'm just going to
shaky photos?
Straight up. No.
Blurry photos?
No, blurry photos. Like just put my finger over the lens.
Oh
it's
my
art.
goodness.
No.
This is it.
I figured it out. I'm going to only take photos on my iPhone and also not edit them at all.
You've done that for me before, and it got so much attention. Do you remember that?
The one
sunflower ones?
The one with the yellow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it got so much attention. I had like people wanting to feature it and everything.
What?
Yeah. And I'm like, well, this isn't his photography to the fullest, so go ahead and go ask him.
You posted it?
I never posted it. No.
She's like,
you
somebody
posted
wanted
it on your story.
Somebody wanted 100,000 for it, but I was like, this ain't his best.
No.
It's like, no, Keem, that's not enough for Keem. I'm like,
oh my god. Yeah. What did you say? As we talk on like these Amazon microphones. Like that. Yeah, that's definitely not enough for Keem.
Damn, she put us on blast. Amazon microphones.
I'm just kidding. This is the most beautiful microphone I've ever
sounds
touched.
good.
We've actually stated on this podcast how shitty these microphones are.
Really?
Like, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. Okay.
Shout out to Newer.
That's another thing that I want to talk. You know Newer?
I have a Newer microphone. Yeah.
Okay, what, you want some of this?
Yeah, sorry.
Chuck, drinking my water. Not prepared. Anyways, what was I talking about? I was getting to we could have let us not start this podcast because we didn't have good enough microphones. We didn't really know about the live streaming. We didn't, we weren't confident in ourselves as like being able to talk in front of the camera, talk to other people in general. But it's like, you kind of, you can't let limitations stop you from doing things. And I feel like so many people stop themselves from doing anything just because they put those, what's it called, roadblocks in front of them,
Yeah, like the glass ceiling kind of thing. And it's crazy because I've always been exposed to that, where my parents, they're immigrants, they sold bananas when they were here. And now like not now, but.
Wait, both of them?
Yeah, both of my parents came.
Respect.
Yeah, they came on a boat like across the freaking ocean, and they stayed at a Filipino refugee camp and were gangsters there and everything too.
Did they have a banana stand?
They did here in America, in Utah.
There's money in the banana stand.
Yes.
Is there?
Well, now you know because
I don't know.
Look at where they are now. Like my dad's a CEO of like a multi-billion-dollar company.
Did he sell a banana to like this, like
okay.
somebody?
Anyways, I'm just kidding. No, it's just marketing. Like my parents knew my mom owned a jewelry store and then ended up opening chains and chains of restaurants. And her kids, all of us, every single one of her kids have been successful, like whatever it is. And we never let those things stop us. Like I would be going to do photo shoots for Tommy Hilfiger and go home to where my gas isn't working. You know what I mean? Or like my lights have been shut off and stuff like that. Like I've been in relationships before where like I would go to a guy's house and have dinner with his family and they're like, you're the best girl ever. And then they drive me home and be like, can you see when you get in your house? Because it's just like, you don't let these things stop you ever. Like these things are going on still in my house. Like I don't have like hot water in my house right now, but I still found a way to get here to expose myself. And it's just like limitations and that glass ceiling kind of mentality should never stop you ever.
So
That's
could I
real.
say one thing?
We don't have AC in this house.
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're good. I'm simple. It's
But I was gonna say, did you learn anything from your parents? Like, did you ask them anything? Oh,
yeah.
Cool.
My mom and my dad were never very prominent in my life, which I think was what made me like the person that I am now. And a lot of people take that for granted because they're like, oh, I never see my mom and dad, therefore I'm just gonna do whatever I want and fuck around. Whereas I was like, I never see my mom and dad, so I have to be my own mom and dad. And I saw that in my sister and like in my brother and stuff like that. And I ended up raising my brother and like my sister raised me, and we're like a family of kids. Like nobody in my house is over the age of 30. And it's crazy, you know what I mean? And it's like
Wait, is it mostly because your parents were busy, or like they were just doing
hustling.
their?
Well, they were hustling like a lot of times, and my mom and my dad, they ended up splitting up before I could even remember. And my dad moved back to Vietnam, and started working in a coconut factory, and then eventually like became like a CEO. And then my mom was over here with a jewelry store and slowly opened like multiple restaurants, but they had 4 kids and they were immigrants from America. So that doesn't mean like, hey, kids, let's go to Denver for Christmas. It was like, hey, you get a spoon and this is the only toy that you get. So it was just like, I learned a lot from them, both like asking them and speaking to them and just the fact that they were gone. Like I learned from them even if they weren't there. And my dad was the one that housed me when I was in Vietnam, and he taught me a lot of essential things that you should learn as like a woman, but as a human being too, like to respect people and to respect the grind and stuff. Because there'd be children with lottery tickets in Vietnam, whereas over here there's kids with like iPhone X's and stuff like that, So
yeah,
it brings me back to a point too where it's just when I hear people like, oh, it's also dependent on how somebody grows up in their life, their parents, but I feel like that's also kind of like it's like 50-50 because like, oh, you didn't get raised in a good household or anything, and like you just said, some kids will go off and fuck off, but you seen it as like a hustling like opportunity and start learning not to be in that same position, you know what I mean? So what is you think you're gonna be just like the same as your mom and dad, just working all the time? Or
I would love to. I have a stepbrother, and he looked at me once and he said, I'm positive that you can retire before you're 30. And it was like something like that, because when I was in high school and I was doing this and just like being this independent, I was working 3 jobs like while I was in high school, and it was like really, really tough. And even now I have 4 jobs, so I heard something from someone once where they were like, why don't you enjoy your high school experience as a kid and then work, because that's what high school is there for. And I tell them every single time, I'm working now so I don't have to
work later.
Yeah.
This time, like I've always thought of things in like a time meter, so that's why I don't like party or drink or smoke, because that will come if I wanted to and if it's meant to. But if I'm rushing into like going into clubs and stuff like that right away and whatnot, like why am I rushing these things, you know what I mean, my life experiences, and why am I trying to experience my high school career when it's just a tiny part of like 4 to 100 is very, very small number. 4 years of high school versus 100 years of life, you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you on that. And I actually I don't know, if I could do it over again, like I wouldn't even have gone to college, low-key.
Yeah.
You went to college?
Yeah, I went to the Art Institute, and I went for audio engineering.
That's really cool.
So I was more, actually before I even did anything with photo or video, damn my phone.
Major respect though, because I feel like, real talk, like you have like that mindset that you should have at a super young age. Like I finally just learned that in like the last year, to be patient.
Oh my gosh,
and just like learn my, like, just hustle.
And I think, wait, do you watch Gary Vaynerchuk?
I don't.
Okay. I feel like you'd be super inspired by him.
You have a super good mindset. That's
you kind of have a similar mindset to him, where it's just like you got to work because somebody was asking him like, hey, tell me something to motivate me real quick. He's like, all right, you're going to die one day.
I tell myself that all the time.
That motivates me.
Yeah, honestly, like
real talk. Like,
how would I leave the people that I do now? You know what I mean? That I have now if I die tomorrow or something like that. And it's just like, will I die lazy? My dad always told me that laziness is the fastest way to the poor.
Oh yeah.
And that's how I live by. Like I was taught, like, just especially being like in an Asian culture, you are number one. Like you have to be number one, otherwise you don't matter. And that was like really tough on me, but that got me to what I want to be. Like, because a lot of people are like, oh, you know, you're not as pretty as this model, but does she have what I have?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Will she ever look exotic or unique or foreign like I do? And if she has her own thing, I have my own thing going too. But I always strive to be number one. And it's just like, it's terrible because I'm like big-headed. Like, I'm not big-headed about it. I'm very patient and humble.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like, I will never get off of work. Like, I've been broken up in my relationships before because he said, like, I don't worry about my health enough because I never sleep.
Yeah.
It's just like things like that. You know what I mean? But guys are stupid. Boys my age are stupid. Don't.
Well, hey, hold on. When you're responding to 500 Instagram or Snapchat DMs, like, how can you sleep, man?
Exactly.
Yeah,
and people don't understand that. And it's just like, I never complain about it. I'm like, oh, I do this. Sucks to suck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, this is what I have to do. If I want to get where I am, I have to do 10 times more. So I'm always like, oh, God, I have to do more. Like, I've sent like 5,000 Snapchats before just for my music video that I released.
Jesus.
And it's because I believe in other people. Like S. Meals, he's like so talented. I'm like, he has to be seen too. So it's not just me on the line. You know what I mean? So I do what I have to, you know?
Yeah. Well, I agree with I wish I had that mindset when I was like in high school, man. Like I had more the mindset of like
rapping.
No, bro, chill.
Whoa,
I have to bring it up every time.
We can't do that. We can't do that now.
Chill, bro.
Static 702.
Hey, man, come on, bro. Come on.
Wait, am I sensing something? Were you a rapper?
No.
It's on YouTube.
No, it's
Oh
not.
my gosh.
Oh shit, it is.
All right, looks like my
Anyways.
followers.
He's dope though. He's actually really dope.
Oh my gosh.
Anyways, what was that? Oh yeah, I wish I had that mentality of like wanting to have something that brings you passive income.
Yeah.
Because I feel like one of the things we talk about is like it's fun when you work in your industry and you make money that way, but it's a lot better when you can do that as an option as far as having to do that as a necessity. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
Like I love
Honestly.
photography, but I don't think I could live my life like gig to gig working for portrait sessions and like doing
Right,
that.
exactly.
I want that to stay a passion and to stay like, okay, I want to do that. I want to work on this project because I'm really passionate about it, as opposed to like, oh crap, I got to go take photos of this person because if not, my lights are gonna go out. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So
you have to learn how to balance things out.
Yeah.
And as much as I've been wanting to release a new song for the longest time, but is it a matter of releasing my new song or
let's talk about your new song. What's it about and like what's the message behind it?
Well, it's called Break Me Down with Dylan. His name's S. Meals. And my personal message about it, and I had a lot of like subliminal messages in it too, but I recently got out of a relationship because I'm one of those girls. And I wrote a song about it, and the message behind it is, well, the lyrics, it's just talking about how this guy like wouldn't be able to handle me and like all the things that I've done, and then he just gives it up. But as far as like the concept and whole goes, it's what the message that we're trying to portray is like this guy is falling too deep in love with this girl and he has to cut it off now before he falls even deeper into it. But as far as like my writing process and stuff like that, like all I kept in the back of my head was my last relationship with this kid, because I was like really, really, really into him, and it just like out of nowhere, like it was like that, it was gone, and I never understood why. And then he gave me all these explanations that just never really made sense, because I've always been like, if you want to make time for me, then you would. Like there's never, like, he told me that he didn't have enough time for me.
Yeah.
But he was telling that
You
to me.
sounded to Kimothy Doe.
I was like,
man.
who are you
The hustler.
to? Yeah, so, I mean, whatever he decided to do at this time, he did. And I
Yeah.
respected his decision, but it was very, very out of nowhere. And I never felt that way about someone before, so I put that in my music. And
I feel like because of social media, and we talked about this with Lionel when he was here. He wrote a song called "Temporary Love," and it's basically about how because of like people out nowadays are just looking for something to get them by to the next day. Like they're not looking for a long-term relationship.
Exactly.
They're looking more for the short term. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So like his song, the way he explained it was like it's temporary love. Like it's not something that's long term, and it's like kind of like how and it's like the whole era of online dating and like Tinder and like Bumble and all that stuff. Like you're swiping right, you're desensitizing love. You're like,
exactly.
okay, yeah, sure, 1, 2, 3, and if you're a guy, 100%, you're just continuously like you're desensitizing it, and then when you find somebody, you're like, okay, you start talking to them, but it's like, okay, maybe I'm just talking to them until the next person comes by, and I like them better. You know what I mean?
It's so crazy how love works nowadays, especially for kids in my generation. I was just talking to my friend about this because she was like, "Are you ever gonna get married?" And her mom recently like found someone else at 50 something, and I'm like, if you want to settle down when you're 18 or 17, because I've had kids or I've had friends that like are pregnant and are married at 18 and 17, do do whatever it is that you want. But there are people at like 56 and 50 or whatever age they are like finding love still. So I definitely feel you on like the desensitizing things.
Most of my cousins which are my age, they all started having kids when they're like 18, because that's just a Mexican thing. Like
that's how Asians are too.
Like my sister has having her 4th kid. My cousins, like a lot of them are in the 3rd and 4th kid. Like. It's crazy. And I'm 27.
Are still most of them together though? Your cousins? Say
it again.
Are like they?
Your cousins?
Are they still in their like relationship?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, my sister divorced with her first.
That's different.
Yeah.
But I meant just the cousin thing. Like are they? Because they're a little bit more cultural.
A lot of it is that too. A lot of it's like, I can't get a divorce because that's not going to look bad in my family.
Do you think that's a bad thing?
You bring dishonor.
I know you bring dishonor to this family. Do I think it's a bad thing? I think it's terrible lying to yourself and spending your life impressing somebody else. Like, that's so gross, and I think that's disgusting.
Yo, you guys want to hear a theory that I have right now, man?
I'm ready.
So I think that a lot of people, and I'm not speaking for every relationship out there because people know when they're in love and whatnot, but I feel that a lot of relationships out there, people are in those relationships and they've been in there for years because they're trained to think that, oh, I'm supposed to follow somebody to be with and I can get along with this person, but it's like they're not necessarily finding someone that is their actual soulmate.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
it's like a checkpoint system.
Yeah, that's why you have people who are like divorcing and they're like mid-20s.
Finding somebody else too.
Yeah,
right after.
Dude, and we're gonna talk about this. Like, we actually had one of our first weddings that we filmed.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say names, but we filmed with their first wedding, and like a year or two later, like they were already divorced, and so it's like, you know what I mean? Like,
it's like that sometimes, and I've had people find each other like after a few months and then get married. And it's really crazy, like how social media even influences like how you see other people. Because with my last relationship, he was a fan, you know what I mean? And then like I met up with him and everything, and it just like slowly turned into this. But I felt like, because I ended up deleting my Instagram too in that relationship, and I felt like once I did that and I wasn't like that popular anymore, he kind of like lost that super crazy spark that he had for me. And people just like are one person but are never that person, and then like you live with them. It's just like, it's crazy, you know. That's it's so crazy weird to think, but it's really weird like how things work nowadays too.
And we were just talking about how it's really easy to be more than one person nowadays.
It really is. Like I told you I do a really good Australian accent whenever I'm in Uber because I think it's like cool, but nobody ever understands like who I actually am. You know, like I can just do that, and then they're like, oh shit, she's from New Zealand and she's so exotic and she doesn't know how to say burger and like things like that, you know? And it's, you could be two people at once. Like I just did it in 2 seconds. So how do I know like you don't have a British accent and you're actually from Colombia or some shit?
How do we know
you
you're actually a man?
Exactly. His long hair is like really crazy. Yeah. So it's just like,
maybe you're a little boy.
Yeah, it's definitely.
Goddamn, you cute.
we're opening box. He's a rapper. You're a little boy.
Hey man. Damn, she getting both of us back.
I'm sorry. I'm like, don't be in the kitchen. You can't take the heat. You know what I mean?
It's hot in here.
So let's talk about your journey going forward. What are you looking to get out of this whole music, acting? Like, is there one that's gonna overtake the other? Do you have more passion towards modeling, or is it more singing, or is it more acting? Is it more being an actual musician? Like, what's the journey ahead look like?
Well, modeling for me is something that everybody knows me as, obviously, like, oh, she's a model. But when I got onto this podcast, everyone in my life is like, oh, you're going to start singing. So it's definitely like going the way that I planned it to be. Mm-hmm. But I've been in this thing called the industry before, the industry network, where they take kids and they like discover their talents and things like that.
Yeah.
And I was like top 15 out of 300 people. And it was just like, they told me, do acting because music is a very narrow road, and if you choose to, or if you have the talent for it, then you could go into music. So,
yeah.
But I think
Korea does things like that. Yo.
Yeah, it's
sorry to
really
cut you
weird.
out, but yeah,
No, I totally
Korea.
get it.
Did you ever watch that documentary on Netflix where they're talking about like they actually have factories where they make these people, like these K-pop groups,
bleach the skin and shit.
Yeah,
and all that.
And they get surgery and so they pressured me to do that when I was in Vietnam.
What?
Too. Yeah, it was great. And I don't know if you remember, but I used to wear colored contacts like it was my religion. Like I would wear it all the time because people said
you had to look a certain way, or
I had
there
to
was
look a certain way. Yeah, it was a certain standard that I had to meet to be able to be seen as like an attractive woman. And they're like, oh, you have colored eyes and you're Asian. There you go. Like there's your separation from a specific category. But it's really crazy. Like people in Korea do that kind of shit, and I can never imagine myself just going through like a training process where they like manufacture this perfect doll for you to be, and then you get promised all this money and success, but it's not you, it's this person that you portray yourself as gets all this money and success.
Damn, I won't even wear like actual like pants to events, man. I'll wear shorts
oh my
everywhere
god,
to please
you're
people.
so
Like,
funny.
you saw me at that one event, like I just laid down. I
know,
well,
you laid down for
I got no like how do you say, like I don't try to please anybody. I'm just like, oh, take me as I am.
Yeah, exactly. You can't take me at my worst, you can't handle me at my best.
Hey, that's a thing.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Keem's
like
always at his worst.
exactly. There is no best.
Sorry.
There it is. No, just kidding. Keem,
we love you, Keem.
I'm just fooling myself.
He says that shit, but look at his fucking beard.
I know.
He gets a lineup like every fucking week.
Oh my gosh.
I don't.
I'm just kidding.
Totally,
I don't know.
No, I get my hair cut like once every 2-3 weeks, but
I haven't got my hair cut in like 6 years.
Yeah, I used to do that. I'm not cutting my hair.
I don't cut the top anymore. Like I'm trying to see how far that grows. Like
that's good.
If I put it down, I'm surprise you.
Keem does have a best. Keem's best is when his bun is intact, and when his bun isn't intact, that's his worst.
That's my worst. Dang.
Exactly. So you always have a.
Have you ever seen the Fat Jewish on Instagram?
No.
No, he has a hairstyle that's kind of similar, but his hair, like he literally has like a that ponytail, but it's a stick that goes all the way up.
Oh my gosh!
And it's like braided all the way to the top.
Oh my gosh!
It looks kind of dope.
I kind of really like that. That kind of scares me how much.
I have a photo that I took with him at Sapphire one time.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and it looks super dope.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh, I really want to look him up now. Is he on Instagram or something like that?
Okay. Yeah, he got famous like for like creating memes. Yeah, is it memes, right? There you go. Boom.
Oh my gosh, I do know him.
Yeah, you know the Fat Jewish.
And he acts too. That's something that he does. Yes, he does act.
Shout out to Chuck for having the camera on me this whole time.
Huh?
Oop.
No, I switched it.
All right, cool. Let's talk about tips on growing your social media following. How does that work?
So
I'm trying to get to 10,000.
I know you've always like messaged me about like you need to teach me how to network.
Yeah.
But how I grow it is I have to understand my audience first, and it's kind of typical, obviously. But I have to know like who finds me attractive, and sometimes it just goes really in depth, like. Men this age who follow these specific people will like my post, therefore I'll spam their account. Like I'll like all their pictures so that I'm on their timeline, or like I'll send them a message with like a smiley face or something like that, and then they'll notice me, and then they'll find like it's crazy. And I do that to like multiple accounts.
I wish I could do that.
It's crazy. You have to be really smart, but
I'll do that. I get blocked.
Oh my gosh, that's so terrible.
Is that like all algorithm based things and like?
No, surprisingly, I know the algorithm. Like they've changed it. It's like if you want to grow your Instagram, follow this algorithm. But it's like if you post a picture, you'll be on top. But if you reply to your comment within 2 minutes that they posted, or if somebody comments on it and you reply to it, then you get bumped back up to the top. And like. In story wise, like if people have searched up your name personally, then you'll pop up in their story timeline first, even if you haven't posted in like 12 hours or something like that. So it's just like little things like that too. Like I always try to reply to all my comments. My engagements are all real. Like if you guys didn't see, I was ranked number 21 on, so like I was a top 21 social media account of Vegas, 2018. Right? No, of just 2018 in general. And I have the biggest audience in all of Las Vegas. Even if it's 28,000, like my background audience or whatever you would call it, like the people that have searched me up and stuff like that, is the biggest in Las Vegas. So it's just like these little things that I do is something that actually shows up and shows out for it. So
damn, there's a whole trick to it, man.
It really, there's a trick and trade to it.
I thought it was
people think just you just post on social media.
No.
Wait, so let's talk consistency and all that jazz about like how often like do you post every day, or like how do you? Well, what are your tips for somebody who's trying to grow their social media? Should they post every day, or should they once a week is good enough? Like, what do you think?
Well, I found when I was first starting out, and that was when I was gaining really, really fast, was that I would post every day. But I think it matters when you post more so than how often you post, because I could post something every day at like 12 p.m. You know, but nobody's gonna see it, so it doesn't really matter. But if I post it at least once a week at 3 p.m. on Wednesdays, everybody's on their phones and they'll remember me. Like the consistency is just how often that you can become prominent in someone's mind. You know
we should start going live at 3 p.m. on Wednesday.
Yeah, it's all about these tiny things. Yeah, come home from work and just like, and it's crazy because, you know, statistically, you'll see this on like websites and too. Wednesday afternoons are when people are most on their things. But what I've experienced in my audience in specific, because it's like 18 to 24-year-olds, is they're always on their phone around 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. because that's when they get off work and they're still planning with their friends. But if they're out, like, I keep myself from posting anything after 9 p.m. because
everybody's out
doing something. Or like before 2 p.m. because everybody's either at school or they're doing something too.
Getting back to work.
Exactly. And it's just like little things like that. So if somebody's trying to build their audience, do it something that people can remember. So if you have to take a week to make a post that you can post at a perfect time, like in a perfect
maximize
setting,
the reach of that post.
Yes, exactly.
Damn.
That way you can reach that audience and get an outcome from it. Because I haven't posted since like I haven't posted in a really long time, but that's because I needed something perfect to post. Because if I keep posting shitty things, they're like, oh, look, there she is again. But if I post like once and they see it, and it's like they actually see it because it's at a good time, they're going to remember me. You know what I mean? So it's
that's
just
really
like that.
good to know.
Yeah.
I used to do these things called Instagram pods to boost engagement. And it worked for a little bit, but I don't know, I got tired of it.
Can you explain what an Instagram pod is?
Yeah, I want to know what an
Instagram pod is basically, so you have these apps like WhatsApp or Telegram and these kind of like messaging apps where you can have a big old group message. Yeah. And what you do is I don't know if you guys know, but there's groups on Facebook where it's like, photographers, photographer pods or whatever, and it's a bunch of people who care about their social media enough to join the group and then join each other's group chats basically. And basically what it is you join this group chat, and whenever you post a new photo, you drop the link to it in that in that
I've heard of these.
In that group, and then they'll click on it, they'll go like it and comment depending on what kind of pod you're in and all that stuff. And you have to do it to them. You have to, so like for example,
I scratch your back, you scratch my back type
there's a couple of them where essentially if you join a 24-hour one, before you post anything to that group, you have to go like and comment on everything that's 24 hours within that pod.
Oh my gosh, that's so much time.
It's a lot of work, and it's like at the end of the day, like
real?
They are real people, 100%. But I don't feel
it's not real engagement.
The engagement is not real at all.
It's like forced.
Yeah. But do you think Instagram took a liking to that? At least a little bit.
I think they blocked it, man. I don't know.
Really?
How they did
I thought Instagram would want to monetize off of that, or like try to use it to their advantage.
I don't know. But it was at the end of the day, it was real engagement, but it was not.
It was fake love.
Yeah, it was fake love, man. You know, and I just couldn't see myself doing that. I did it for a couple of weeks, and a couple of my posts hit like 500, 600 likes. I was like, whoa, this is crazy. And now that I'm not doing that, I'm even trying to like steer away from hashtagging because I'm just like, damn, like I don't
do it.
Don't steer away from hashtagging.
Well, I mean, hashtag to a limit because there's an algorithm for that too. Where if you do no more than 5 hashtags, then you'll be bumped to the top too. Because excessively using a hashtag will bump you to the bottom because it seems like it's not.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. So if you notice, I use like around 3, and it's always like my own hashtags where people would look me up and stuff like that. But keep it to a minimum.
What
of
if
5.
you comment and put the hashtags? Does it still count?
It still counts as they see. Yeah, I know. I used to comment too, so it just doesn't show up on my thing. Yeah. But yes, use at least 5 hashtags, or at most 5 hashtags, because if you go any more, it becomes excessive and they think it's inauthentic. Yeah. So change it up, be a varietal and stuff like that.
That makes sense. I'm gonna start doing that.
It's really crazy.
I feel like that's part of the reason why my followers kind of fluctuated like 10, 15 every now and then. Like, because hashtags, people are looking at those hashtags, they're following you. And if you don't like their work and you don't follow back, then they unfollow you. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
and nothing's ever real nowadays. Like, I've had people on my live stream like, oh, why don't you follow me back? It's,
I don't know you.
I don't know you necessarily. And I do try to support as many people as I can in the community, which is why I follow as many as Instagram allows me, which people are like, oh, that's why your followers are fake.
That's why I made a Finsta today.
Oh my God, I have a Finsta too.
You have a Finsta?
Yeah, it's like
What is
13
that?
followers though. It's a fake Insta.
I hate you.
Where you can post personal shit.
Yeah, so basically it's just like close friends and family that you like. Let's say, because the thing is with my Instagram, it's kind of like branded it to like be photography and video, and I don't want to supposedly like take a photo of my sushi roll and post it on my feed. You know what I mean? Like,
But he really wants to show that sushi roll.
I really want
Exactly.
to glorify that sushi roll to the max because it filled my belly, you know. But yeah, so that's for that purpose only. Really.
Fill my belly, you know.
Dude, I got like all these Instagrams. I got one for my Kimibara. There's Indie Flair. There's Morning Dinner, and then there's my Finsta. Yeah,
That's really cool. There's that too. There's a lot of things. I have a Finsta too, and it's like one of the best things ever. But at the same time, like, kind of sucks.
My sister taught me about Finsta. I was like, what's that? Because she's 18.
Aww.
How has school changed? Because we're legit. So let's recap. Like, you're 17. I'm 27.
I'm
there's
25.
a legit. But there's a bigger gap between me and her. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's like 10 years. There's like a decade.
Oh, yeah.
Legitimately a decade.
Yeah,
Gap.
we don't care about it. Anyways.
God damn, fuck me, right? All right. I'm no more angles on me.
So there's a gap between when I went to high school and when you're going to high school.
Yeah.
When I was going to high school, we had like the Motorola Razr. We had like the LG. What's it called? The one where you text keypad and everything.
Yeah,
the
little
T9.
BlackBerry thingies.
Yeah. So I remember those days. We didn't really have touchscreens until like after I graduated. Like a year after I graduated is when they started introducing like the iPhone 3G and all that stuff. How has school changed as far as that goes? Like, is everybody constantly on their phones, or do they have to hide it? Like, how does that work?
Well, I value school a lot. I think like school is like one of the most important things ever. Up until you're 18. And then anything afterwards, like, I don't want to pursue a college career. And I have a career plan for if I do go to college, like, I'd love to study law and stuff like that. But in school nowadays, it's like people are very disrespectful for sure. Because when I went to school in Vietnam at the international school, the only reason why I left was seniors were reading at 6th grade level, which is not something that I was interested in doing.
Damn, that's worse than Nevada.
Exactly, especially paying at like $30,000 a year for tuition. So I was like, fuck this shit. And I left, but school nowadays, like, people prioritize the way that you look and you show up to school more than like how you do in school. But then at the same time, like, I go to a magnet school, so a lot of the kids there, like, if you're in AMSAT, which is, you know, like, really smart, then you're more popular than the kids that are in Teach. But all of the AOF kids are, you know, basketball players. It's like it varies for sure, but
It's like an episode of Degrassi.
exactly. And people think
I've
like,
never watched that.
That new season sucks, man.
ew, is
Ever
it
since they shot Drake, it just went downhill.
I love Drake so much. Like, he's something that I looked up to because I was like, I can't be an actor and then suddenly pursue music, which
I
is
could
my
be an actor
passion.
in a wheelchair. Wasn't he in a wheelchair?
Oh, thank you, Chuck. Yeah, he was.
After he had gotten shot.
Oh,
Ooh,
it's the
spoiler
other
alert.
video.
Just kidding. If you haven't watched that episode, it's been like 20 years, bro.
I don't even know. Yeah, I never got into
Have you
that
seen
shit.
the music video that he did?
Which one?
He did. I forgot what song it was, but he did a music video with like a Degrassi reunion, and it was
No way. You dropped
so
something.
funny. I did.
Thanks for pointing
No,
that
I
out.
haven't seen that. I saw the one where he was like donating money to everybody. That was cool.
Oh my
God's
gosh.
plan.
That was cool. God's
God's
plan.
plan.
That one.
Yes.
Yeah.
In sync.
Dude, you know how you know when I started feeling old? Remember that movie I recommended to you, the package on Netflix?
Yeah.
Have you seen that movie?
Yes.
Okay,
was funny.
I officially, like, I was laying down in bed, I was watching that movie, and I felt old
That shit
when the
is-
guy got a fake ID and it was from 1990. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, I was like, bro.
I was born that year, bro. Like,
It was
You were
91.
1991.
I was born 1990, December.
90. Oh
Were
my
you?
gosh, December.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
born
damn.
January
I'm in the
2001.
I made the cut to be
2001?
2001, yeah.
Oh,
Keem said the same thing. He was like, fuck, 2001.
It sounds so
dude.
weird.
Not even 2000. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really crazy.
We're all young, though. It's all good.
I think my oldest niece was like 2005 or 6.
That's trippy.
And it's just like, whoa, that's my niece. That's like that's a baby.
That's so cute. I love seeing your pictures with her because it's like you're her godfather too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like
Well, I have 3 nieces under my sister, and then I have another goddaughter, which is my best friend's baby, and she's like a year or 2. A year. She's a year. She's a year.
like, we'll edit that out.
Well, everybody having babies, man. I can't keep track of everybody's
Yeah.
age. Damn it. But yeah, she's my second goddaughter. But my oldest goddaughter, she's 11.
Wow.
Yeah, I
That's so
love my
crazy.
nieces.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if I never have kids, that's cool because I have my nieces. You know what I mean? Like, that's enough to fulfill me. I feel.
And I've watched like YouTube videos on BuzzFeed of like football players playing with kittens, and that's like Keem with his nieces because you're like this small, and you're like, oh, I love these little
My
tiny
little
things.
babies,
yeah,
man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so cute. I love
My
it.
nieces are the best, too. Shout out to nieces.
Shout out to family.
Yeah. I know, family is amazing. I've always had like a pretty small family, but I've learned to value it a lot. I used to like go out, like a touching subject on high schoolers and stuff like that. They never prioritize their families anymore because friendships.
It's not cool anymore.
Yeah, they're like, oh, my family, the fuck, like they'll always be around, but my friends are gonna graduate soon. Who fucking cares? Like they're gonna graduate soon. They're not gonna give a shit about you. So why are you giving them all of your, quality time now?
Yeah.
So it's like
I got so much insight being the age that I am and having nieces the age that they are.
Yeah.
Because especially my oldest niece, like she's always tripping about like friends, and then I'm like, Mija, like your friends, like. You might have one that you grow up with, like, to be older and everything, but, like, most of them are going to disappear within, like, a year or two of you graduating from high school. Like, chill.
That's crazy, yeah. A lot of people don't really, they take family for granted for sure and take other things for granted. That's
one thing that I kind of, like, noticed that I was doing when I was in high school is I was putting a lot of time with my friends.
Yeah.
And looking back, like, dude, there's only, I want to say, like, 2 or 3 people from my actual high school that I actually still keep in touch with. And I'm the godfather to one of their kids. Like,
that's crazy. Yeah. Let's see if that happens.
But literally, like, the group that I spend the most amount of time with in high school.
Yeah.
I mean, it's reality, though, too. Because, like, you move on in life, and some people don't want to move on.
Yeah, no doubt.
Oh, my gosh. Those type of people are crazy. I don't want to do anything outside of high school. They like reach their peak in high school. Those are the type of people I try to stay away from because then they start feeding off of other people's successes or failures and stuff like that too.
Yeah, those are the kinds of kids or the kind of people who, oh, you're back home.
And they're
like, home and it's like those are the kind of people that go to 10-year reunions.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Talking about 10-year reunions, mine's coming up.
Oh my gosh!
Crazy. Coming up next year, I think.
People.
Because I graduated in 2009.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
2000. I haven't even graduated. I'm class of 2019.
Well, you're class of 2019?
I am.
That's
10 years.
8 years. Damn.
That's
damn. You can't count, bro.
Your age is too. Come on, man.
Oh, okay, I thought you said 2009, 2018.
Oh no,
that's 8 years.
You wild man. Yeah.
No, 2011 I graduated.
Oh my gosh.
So how do you balance? Because knowing you the way I know you and kind of how you've been doing modeling, you've been doing music, you've been, keeping up with your social. How do you balance that with your actual work life? Because you do go to school full time, right?
I do, yeah.
How does that work out? Like, how do you balance things? Like, are you constantly at school on social media? Like,
no, actually.
Do you have to be?
Well, it's I think it was my sophomore year. I was so sleep deprived that in my piano class, I slept under a piano, and then I walked up like a ramp to help this girl. She had like a disease that kept her from walking. So I always walked her to the health office, and I was so sleepy that I fell forward, and I cracked my head. Like I ripped my forehead open on her walker, and that was the day that I realized fuck. I gotta stop doing so much to myself because I was always doing these kinds of things. So balancing those two have been the most difficult thing ever because over the summer I was already overwhelmed. I was like, fuck, I have this to go to and then I have to go down the street to this. But now having schoolwork and having AP classes, because I'm a smart kid. I have no open periods ever, which is crazy because seniors usually get that. But I was like, no, I'm gonna take on an AP class. I'm gonna take 2 more language classes. And
dude, I chilled so hard my senior year. Jesus, I have 4 classes.
Yeah,
must be nice.
You're definitely a hard worker.
I went to school from 8 to 12 and I was out. No, but it's also because I was following the hustle of what was that?
Oh my god, this is so
Did you hear that?
creepy. Yeah, it was
that was creepy, huh? I was following the hustle of being an audio engineer. That's why I went to school for audio engineering. But I was recording rappers in my mom's basement, and I was like, that was my hustle.
That's amazing. A lot of people do that too. From the show Empire, one of my favorite shows, he started out recording rappers and himself in his garage. You know what I mean? But yeah, balancing
brings you back to that hustle and flow.
I know. I love it. I love hustle. I love telling people that.
I got scared. My bad. What was that sound?
Did you? Oh my god!
What was
his
that,
shaking a little too fast.
Did you hear that little bell?
Yeah, it was
like a notification for a ding ding, almost like somebody bought something from your offer up.
Is it your Is it your iPad?
I think it was my button.
Oh,
my button hitting the glass. No, I actually. You guys want to hear a scary story?
Yeah, please.
Okay, so my friend, she, not gonna name any names, but she usually gets night terrors, and she woke up this one time, and she had picture day at her school.
Let's call her Terry.
Let's call her Terry, right? Terry with the night terrors. Terry with the terrors. She woke up and they were like, hey, can you move your hair? And she had a whole bruise around her collarbone, and she was getting choked in that night terror. And she's staying with me right now. She's from Oregon, but she's staying with me right now, and my sister, like my grandma recently passed, so my sister saw like a spirit walk from my praying table. That my mom's Buddhist, so she saw like a spirit that looked like me walk from there to my water fountain, and she freaked out. And it was like 4:00 in the morning. Same day, my cousin sees in the morning a spirit walk from my water fountain down to the hallway. So we're like, fuck, what the fuck is this? And then yesterday, my friend with the night terrors, she was like, I'm positive I closed the door, and my door automatically locks because I have a keypad lock on it. So she's like, I'm 1000% positive I locked the door. Everybody was home and sleeping because she let one of my other friends that's living with me in. And they were in my room, which is right next to the door, and they heard the door open. Like my front door, heavy ass front door open. So they're like, nose goes, and they went outside, they closed the door.
What was that? Nose
goes? Yeah, so it's like whoever touches their nose last, then they have to do it. But yeah, so they closed the door and they heard shuffling outside. And my sister said that she was sleepwalking yesterday, but then Terry, she was like, I have so many bruises on my body. And I was like, do you want to hear a story? And then she was like, do you want to hear something even scarier? Your door opened randomly last night. So we're guessing it was like spirit bruises, and
that explains why when you got here and that freaking thing fell behind you.
It's crazy, but I always attract spirits, but I never see them. Like my sister was always like that when I was younger. She always saw spirits whenever I was around, but like I never saw them, so it was really creepy. I'm sorry.
Well, you guys heard it here first on the morning dinner. If anything happens to Kim and Chuck, it was Kimothy's fault.
Kimothy's fault.
I was gonna call you Kimmy.
Kimmy's fault. You always call me Kimmy too.
I don't know if you took offense to it or not. Like.
Yeah. No, I have a lot of Kims in my house, so that's why I named myself Kimothy. I was like, can't do that because I have an older sister that calls herself Kim too, and then my youngest sister calls herself Kim. So.
It's just Kim?
Yeah.
K-I-M?
K-I-M, yeah.
Like, like those Thai names, like they're like, my name's just Cop, and then I see their real name and it's like some fucking...
Yeah, no, my name is Kim Tieng Do. But I just combined it and just made Kimothy because my other sister is like me, Kim. Gotcha. Yeah. So it was just like an American name. My American name is Caroline, which nobody knows, but...
Ooh.
Well, now everybody knows.
Now everybody knows. So yeah, but I never go... I was born in a car. That's why my dad had a sense of humor. Was like, let's name her Caroline. And yeah.
Wow.
Moved on
Donation.
Donation. Hashtag donation.
Did I ever tell you where I got my name from?
Kim?
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing... I can't guess where the fuck you get Keem from. Where did you get your name from?
It's adorable.
It's a cute little... It's a conversation starter, man. What you talking about?
I said it's adorable.
It's adorable. So, okay, so my mom, when she had me in East LA. My dad was in Mexico working. He was like taking a little... He was like just traveling down there for like working and stuff. So he wasn't around, you know what I'm saying? Like, no issues there. He was cool. It was only 2 weeks. But anyways, when I was born, my mom, she was... The doctor asked her what she wanted me to be named, and my mom didn't speak any English. So she wanted to name me King, King.
Oh
so
my
the
gosh.
doctor understood Keem.
That is so cute.
So my name is
Keem.
My life
completely changed.
My name, like most of my life, is a complete misunderstanding.
That's so crazy.
It's so funny though, because like his mom's like just this cute little adorable woman.
Is she? My
has
mom.
A high voice.
My mom's a certified midget. Like she's exactly like
Put
she
her on blast,
can
man.
have a handicap little thing too. I love my mom.
No, my mom's like 5'2" also. Like,
yeah, my
she's
mom's
short.
tiny too.
But my mom, you get on her bad side. Ooh, good luck.
Oh my gosh, Mexican mamas scare me.
She will pick up a rock.
My ex-boyfriend's mom. My ex-boyfriend's mom was Mexican, and there's this one time or she is Mexican. I don't know why I said she was. But there's just one time she prays before, or they all pray before they eat. But I stuck a piece of broccoli because I saw his stepdad do it. So I stuck a piece of broccoli in my mouth, and she goes, "Hey!" And she smacked my hand. She's like, "Don't eat it." And at that second, I was like, so I spit it out. Like I was ready to spit it out because I was scared shitless that she was gonna like beat my ass or something like that.
Damn.
But yeah, it was really crazy.
Yeah, I would never give up and be Mexican for anything else.
Honestly, I love
the experience.
Yo, Mexicans break your heart, but they're the move.
Why you
They break your heart, but they also fix your toilet.
Oh my God, that's so terrible.
I can be racist to my own people.
Exactly. You both are just on a roll.
We ain't shit though.
My first job ever was helping my dad. He used to have this party jumper table rental business where he would rent tables and chairs and like these big old, those jumpers?
Yeah.
They call them brincolinas in Spanish.
Brincolinas.
They're little bouncy houses. Yeah. So my first job was like when I was like, I'm gonna say 13, maybe 14 years old.
Yeah.
He had bought like these 6 brincolinas, and we would take them. We would rent them out to for parties and things like that. And you know, my whole Saturdays was spent like kind of rolling up that 200, 300-pound thing, and then taking all these tables and chairs to places.
Oh my gosh,
it was fun.
That sounds so fun. I love childhood stories. Like, you guys get to do some crazy shit.
Yeah. Well, my dad actually was a landlord when I was growing up, so I actually got to spend my weekends helping him put tile and fixing things. And
how cute is that?
It's called cash babies, bro.
Exactly.
Have you seen that meme? That's it's like a Mexican dad, and he's like fixing something in a car, like a car part or something. Yeah. And it's like the best part of growing up being Mexican is like when you're holding a flashlight and getting yelled at.
Oh my gosh.
That was me
too. When you learn from your parents, and
he's like, let me teach you something. Hold this flashlight. Don't fucking do that.
Oh my gosh, that sounds so fun. I would love to do that. I never held a flashlight for a car.
Yeah.
That's the move.
Have you ever changed a tire?
Well, what's the next thing that we're talking about? No, I've never.
It's kind of like something that's not like I wouldn't have known if my dad didn't teach me. Mm-hmm. You know, like it's kind of
it's essential.
Well, when you got insurance, you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I don't know how to do a lot of shit with cars. I can change my tires, do basic like oil changes, but I
don't even have a car. I'm 17. When I was in Vietnam, I got a lot of PTSD from like how the roads were, because people would kind of. We didn't have walking signs or anything over there, so I still get traumatized like walking in the street or whatever.
Yeah.
But I like chose to only get my license when I have to, which is 18, because I'm so scared of the road.
Yeah.
So I don't know anything about cars. I don't need to, because the bus is awesome, and it
you should train with my sister. She's 18. She doesn't have her license yet, but she's working on it. And now that like she's able to get my brother's car, which is like this little Corolla. Yeah. I think it's a Corolla, whatever it is. She's been learning, and she drove me the other day, and I was like, "Oh, you're learning."
Or you can just get so rich in your life that you don't have to.
You never have to drive. Cardi B doesn't have her license.
For real?
Cardi B does not have her license.
I wouldn't doubt it. She should make a song about that.
I know, it's out of my license. Oh. I actually my upcoming song is gonna be a remake of one of her songs.
Oh, license.
Nice. About licenses? No, not about licenses. But it's a remake of "Be Careful." So hopefully I get to do that soon, because studio sessions are you just breaking things.
Kind of. I'm trying to readjust the microphone and the thing fell.
Yeah, studio sessions are very expensive, so I have no money.
Kim will do it for you for $10 an hour.
Oh,
$10 an hour. I got a microphone right here.
Yeah.
We'll give you the recording
it right now.
Exactly. People kept asking, "Am I gonna sing?" So maybe I can sing one of these things, copy it, and then post it.
You want to give them? Before we close out, because I think we're already hitting like 2 hours or an hour and a half or something.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Whoa, that's crazy.
It's 9:52, and I think we started like
2 hours.
8:30. No, it's been like an hour and a half.
An hour and 26 minutes.
Oh wow. Okay, yeah, I'd love to close out.
So we'll do this. We'll do a little
beatboxing,
a little singing. Yeah. Do you want me to beatbox for you?
I'd rather you not. Oh my gosh.
Like the Fat Boy beatboxers. Yeah.
All right.
We'll do the acapella thing. Have you seen Pitch Perfect?
I love Pitch Perfect.
So I'll go zoom, 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 and then you'll be like, we'll do the.
Are you guys good at that?
No, we've never done it before, but we're good freestyling.
Well, what song do you guys want me to sing?
Why don't you ask your followers right now? Why don't you ask your viewers on the Instagram or?
Okay, for whoever's watching, can you guys please send me something that you guys want me to sing to close out this podcast? That would be wonderful.
So we'll do that. We'll do the singing, and then we'll ask you any tips you have for people who wanna, or girls who wanna start modeling and they kind of like feel intimidated.
Okay.
So we'll do that. And if your followers take too long to submit a song,
or right now, just every answer you have, start singing.
I'll go to my iTunes and I'll pick up the first song.
Yeah, just to give me the first song on your iTunes. We'll do that, because I have like 477 people right now.
Oh damn! No. I don't have many popular songs though, man. I'll be listening to all that weird stuff. See, if any song I put was gonna be like before you were born.
Oh, that's so cute.
We got
that's so cute.
That's so, yeah.
You old fuck.
You old little man. I don't know what song I know.
Wait, have you ever heard "Loverboy" by Fum Vipurit? Okay.
Oh, that guy's so
that's
nice.
such a good song.
I can sing "Love Yourself." That's a Justin Bieber song.
Love Yourself. Where does that one go?
All the times that you rain on my parade.
There you go.
And all the clubs you get in using my name. You think you took my heart, oh girl, for goodness sake. You think I'm crying on my own, well I ain't. And I didn't want to write a song, 'cause I didn't want anyone thinking I still cared. I don't, but you still hit my phone up. And maybe I've been moving on, but I think you could be something I don't want to hold back. Baby, you should know that.
My
Mama
God.
don't like you.
Yo, when Justin Bieber becomes a classic, you know you're getting old.
Oh God, yeah.
Hey, real quick. So
You killed it.
Did you
Thank you.
take classes for any of
Never.
that? You just learned?
I wish I could. I always I have inspirations that I kind of learn from, and I've always played like the same Demi Lovato clip over and over and over and over.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully she's okay. There's so many like jokes about her right now with like her heroin addiction and stuff. I'm sure you guys are guilty of making a few too.
We were just talking
I've
about
always
this
loved
earlier.
her because she has like a powerful voice and like she's never auto-tuning. I can hear you guys laugh in the back. But I just listen and I imitate. Same thing with the piano. I can listen to things and I can just play it back.
But when you sing, did you ever like listen to yourself? So you
All
can
the
hear?
time,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
I did this kind of thing with my.
No,
singing
Chuck, she's
too.
actually deaf, bro.
Yeah, I can't hear anything.
I hate you guys.
How cool would it be if I told people I was deaf?
Yeah.
Like, guys, I'm
And
deaf.
just talk hella loud.
What?
I'm Kimothy.
I can see
I'm
your
here to
mouth moving.
sing.
I don't know if you guys are talking or not. I'm just kidding.
Cool. Well, do you have any before we close it out, do you have any
Yeah.
advice for any young females who are coming up? Well, actually, any females that are kind of your age, because you're pretty much as young as they come.
Oh, well, as far as females my age, be safe for sure. Don't feel obligated to release every single part of your private life to other people. Keep it strictly professional. And be sure that you're very confident in yourself and that you love yourself too. As cliche as it is, you can't love yourself. Like, how are you going to love somebody else if you can't love yourself? I got that from RuPaul's Drag Race, by the way. I love RuPaul's Drag Race.
People seem to love that show, man.
RuPaul's Drag Race. Yeah, but I've always been a very big advocate of self-confidence just because I've always, I've never had the problem of hating the way that I look. But I did before I started modeling and stuff like that. So if you're so insecure to the camera, it'll catch everything, because pictures don't just capture what you look like, but how you feel and stuff like that too. And if you're emoting this thing that I don't look good, people will see it too. Mm-hmm. So I think my biggest advice is just to learn to love yourself, be professional, and understand it's going to be terrible and harsh and stuff, but that's only going to make you appreciate how good it's going to be in the near future. And just be patient, just because patience is key, because people are I posted a video yesterday, why hasn't it gone viral?
Yeah,
it doesn't happen that way. It never does. So I think that's my biggest advice for teenagers and people my age.
That's some beautiful advice.
Yeah. That's some good ass advice. Some girls get your titties done, get your ass pumped, and go like this. But I'm all on bro, if you out here hating yourself, nobody's gonna look at that and be oh, she's cute. You know what I mean? I think self-confidence is the hottest thing a bitch can have.
There you go.
Be a bad bitch.
Spoken like a G.
Be a bad bitch.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Do you want to give a quick shout out to your nation?
Yeah. Thank you so much for my donation for watching. It means so much to me that I can finally put a little bit of my personality onto social media. Hopefully this benefits both of you guys too. Thank you so much to The Morning Dinner for featuring me in general. It's a big, big honor. And I wrote Keem 2-paragraph thing
let's
too.
Talk about that real quick before we close out. You're the first person that wrote down a whole.
She gave you a whole entire book.
She gave me a book report on why she wanted to be on the.
I'm telling you, humble yourself. Don't
and
think
that's real. That to me was whoa.
She really about it.
She really wanted to be on here, and she really respects our podcast. That's dope to me.
I
that to me.
respect it. No, oh my gosh, not even. It's such an honor. I saw your post is some girl whispers I will pay whatever rate that you want because I respect your art and I know how hard you work. I will put in 10 times more work if that meant that you saw how much I appreciate things that go on around here, because this shit isn't easy. This dude been holding a fucking controller switching on from monitors. That shit ain't easy. Look at that. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta switch to your camera so people can see.
Go back
I thought
to
I
yours.
switched.
Yeah, but I'm very blessed for sure, and I'm patiently waiting for my time to come. But I'm always humbled, and I'm sure that this experience is gonna follow me forever. And y'all in my hearts for sure.
Yeah, you're fucking killing it.
That's dope.
Thank
You
you.
motivated me today. I'm damn, I need to
Hey,
hustle
let's
harder.
get it though. That's how it be.
I used to think when I was 18, if I don't make it by 21, I'm getting a job.
Yeah, I was I'm gonna become a millionaire at 21.
And then when I had 21, I'm by 25 for sure. If I don't.
Now I'm like 35. And
You're
then
like,
I'm gonna be
hey,
like
bro.
60.
Hey, bro.
You're
Well,
almost
hey,
there,
have I
brother.
shown you the new little logo we got going? It's not a logo. It's like
Do
an
you have any
art piece.
logo? Is it the microphone?
No. So our friend Samantha in California, she did a little like art piece, like drawing design for us.
Okay.
And it was a girl here. I'll actually show you right now. If Chuck has it, you can pull it up.
Oh, it's taking too long.
Ooh, I got it right here. Boom. So we got this thing done right here.
Oh my God, that's so gorgeous.
So we're thinking about getting like stickers done for it, or maybe getting some kind of like t-shirt
Exclusive
design.
tees.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. We're
Too bad
trying
it's
to.
not like Keem or Chuck.
Yeah.
Like you guys are the face of this.
We'll do that one day.
Her name's Lola though,
Lola.
and she listens to the morning dinner
Shout out
podcast.
to Lola. Yeah.
Shout out to Lola.
She'll be with us
Nona.
24/7.
Yeah, low key. Yeah, I love that. That's
She's-
so wonderful.
She's the funkiest chick on this side of Vegas.
I'm very excited to see how everything goes. And this was like so amazing. So
That's fun. We gotta do this again.
Thank you.
Gotta have
Hell
her
yeah.
talk about more controversial topics.
oh my gosh, I'm really good on those because I know
I'm
so
not.
many useless, crazy facts and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
We gotta talk conspiracy
do it.
theories next time.
I definitely or ghost stories. 'Cause,
I like ghost
Oh my
stories.
God.
I'm so
Yeah.
sorry that I haunted your house.
Yeah, you fucking bring them in.
I'm so sorry.
Jesus.
It's the Asian in me.
Well, thank you so much for coming in. We're gonna go ahead and close out this podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you
Of course.
everybody for tuning in and watching, and we'll see you guys on the next morning dinner.
Every time I come in the kitchen, you in the kitchen. In the goddamn refrigerator.
I sure am hungry.